Hi, I'm Sam, and today our group, Bryan, Alex, Sam, and Shantanu, will be discussing the significant impacts that climate change is having on the Atlantic hurricane season, specifically looking at trends in frequency, intensity, and duration. So on this slide, we have historical data from 1850 to the present, and we can see that the number of storms in the Atlantic basin has markedly increased. This rising trend is a critical indicator of changing environmental conditions, as the frequency of these systems directly correlates with the potential for widespread damage. But what impact is that having on people's everyday lives? Well, an increase in storm frequency has devastating consequences. For example, in 2024, storms caused 356 deaths in the United States. And furthermore, approximately 33 million US homes worth an estimated $11.7 trillion are at moderate risk for wind damage. This threat is especially acute for coastal populations in Florida and Puerto Rico.
How exactly does climate change fuel these storms? Higher average temperatures lead to increased water evaporation, providing more fuel for storms to develop faster and grow larger. Additionally, greater temperature anomalies create larger temperature gradients, resulting in faster winds. When you combine these factors with rising sea levels, storm surges become significantly more destructive. The 2017 Atlantic hurricane season is a strong example of how severe a season can become. This slide shows that the season included major hurricanes such as Harvey and Irma, which cost about $60 billion in damages. It also states that the season caused 3,173 deaths. One reason it was so active was the unusually warm ocean water that year. According to the slide, water temperatures were about zero point 0.7 degrees Celsius above average, and the season produced 17 named storms. This slide shows that hurricanes are becoming more likely to reach major intensity. In other words, storms are not only forming but are more likely to become Category 3 or stronger. The slide notes that the likelihood of an individual hurricane becoming Category 3 or above has roughly doubled since 1980. This matters because stronger hurricanes usually bring stronger winds, heavier rainfall, and greater damage.
On top of the increased frequency and intensity of hurricanes, their seasons are also becoming longer, starting earlier and ending later. Warmer sea surface temperatures due to climate change in the spring trigger an early start, while La Niña events in the fall delay the end of hurricane seasons. Some models project an increase of up to 41 days in the Atlantic hurricane season. This begs the question, what are the increasingly significant major impacts of hurricanes? For humans, flooding, damaged property, and challenges with evacuation all contribute to massive economic loss. While in ecosystems, plants and animals are often killed, and in the worst cases, chemical plants are damaged, releasing toxic waste into protected areas.
Looking ahead, scientists use representative concentration pathways models to predict future risks. If we reach the worst case scenario, RCP 8.5, risk levels for coastal hazards could rise between 25 and 55%. This includes an increase in the frequency and severity of storms, as well as the occurrence of rare, extra strong storm systems that will especially cause harm in the southern U.S. and smaller outer-lying islands. To summarize, climate change has significantly boosted the volume and destructive power of Atlantic hurricanes. Rising temperatures and sea levels are the primary catalyst for these changes, and without immediate steps to mitigate climate change, we're going to see considerably more dangerous storms, and the outlook is grim as the storms will only continue to become more powerful as climate change worsens. If immediate action isn't taken, we will likely have very devastating consequences of future hurricane seasons, and even years that what will currently be relatively moderate hurricane seasons will become dangerous ones, and the dangerous ones will become extremely dangerous, causing a lot of harm to a lot of people. So here are some of the sources used for our presentation and research, and there's sources, and let's see. We are now available to take any questions. So if you have any questions, please reach out to achapin@nbinteractive.com if you have any questions about the presentation, or comment them below.